Shiva, Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah Om. Namaskaram to all. Today, the seventh class, which we have been seeing on the great day of Maha Shivaratri, I want to emphasize more on this factor called Maha Shiva. So we have been seeing for the past 6 days on greatest, the evolution and 4 greatest muhurtas of its light form, and understanding what is ascension, and deepening into the understanding of descent power. Then we have seen all this can be only be made possible with the power of devotion, and what is the degree of devotion, and the power of surrender in which true devotion is being employed. And then coming down later, seeing the power of sound, vibration, what is bindu, what is found in the bindu, what is nada, and how we, the human and the creation, has formed into that one consciousness bindu and separated itself as many. Then as we were coming down, then seeing the importance of how we can connect to him, what are the degrees and layers of the mind, and the higher existence also. So this we have been seeing. See, the main purpose of here, and today the title is going to be Light Entering into Darkness and Ignorance. How to bring his light of love and wisdom into your body and mind. How to always live in his light. Cleansing, healing, and energizing the body and mind by allowing his flow of light, and meaning of Namaskritya mantra, which we will see. So the main focus on Mahashiva as this cosmic light consciousness. It is light. But what is there when we say my soul? What is actually the constitute of the soul? Therefore, we have seen quite a bit of things like Sat Chit Ananda, that Shiva, which is always existing, within which all the knowledge being, within which there is delight, which we see as a creation, and that's all that which constitute within him, his dynamism, his intelligence, his power, the power of the elements which create the creation, everything compact. This is Mahashiva, the supreme supermind which created this creation, and that is my soul. That is what we are coming to, this factor. That is my soul. Therefore, it must made to be express itself. So, are we allowing for the 2 points here? One, to remove its ignorance first as an ascension, where the entrapped individuality is no more being entrapped and released, and knowing the potentiality of the power that I am Shiva, that every part of me, then it realizes wisdom, knowledge, and bringing this individual consciousness no more entrapped with this body, mind consciousness, and all the other cause effect which comes along with this, which we term as karma and all, and to split open, to rise to your higher potentiality, in which the expansion of consciousness, the entrapped consciousness, which we call tantra, it start expanding itself no more, and you have a direct experience to yourself, unless you experience this, not by words, actual experiencing. Yes, I'm more than what I think I am, because I'm no more entrapped. My thinking capabilities grow, which we call intuition, in which you intuit the higher truth, even without seeing it as a gross element, because it's not a gross element. So your higher understanding into this, and entering into this, where the ascension takes place, and after which, as we have seen, as an integral yoga, a complete yoga, where one has learned how to enter into him, Can we live in his consciousness? No more my private consciousness, in his intelligent consciousness. This is where. So the realization grows, but there is something, a factor needed here, which is for him to evolve in us completely. We need to allow that. What we call, we have to cooperate with the divine for him to absolutely take over me. Your cooperation needed. What is the cooperation here? To welcome Shiva with red carpet enter into me on Maha Shivaratri as Maha Shiva into this body night, enter into me and respond me as your cosmic light. So are we cooperating? It is ready, it is unconditional, but we have to allow, because it's a force. Remember, not only intelligence, is dynamism also, it's a force. That force to descend into us, then we also need to cooperate for the source to enter into me. That cooperation, the cooperation from the body standpoint, from the mind standpoint, from the deeper mind standpoint, to our even deeper evolution, from where the mankind, the history of mankind started, the evolution, until to the depth of it. We have to cooperate. In which manner? Which we have seen. Namah Shivaya deals with the body. Sive Nama deals with the mind and with all its projection, which has animated itself as karma. It's all there. And that deals Sive Nama. Then we went into super subtler mind, where it carries many billion years of remnants still existing within the human consciousness. So we can even enter into the higher beings and start cleansing it. That's what we have seen so far. So the cooperation needed is to enter into him first. That is what the cooperation needed for the huge event called Mahashivaratri, which is a greatest blessing for humanity, which I really would like to go into the subject matter of supermind and the humanity, Mahashiva and humanity, how they are connected, because it's quite crucial. This time is quite crucial that we need to understand what is this Mahashivaratri is all about. What are we doing to ourselves, to Mother Nature? It's much important, because we have to allow, cooperate for the descent of a Mahashiva. Then we have to look into something which helps me to cooperate along with that. First, devotion on him, that he is everything. I'm absolutely part of him in any way. Also, I'm part of him. Even my emotions that are coming out is also him giving me the emotions to show you something, teachings. Yes, I will see what is there for me. So since everything is in me, if I can cooperate, which is the purposefulness which we saw within this Shivam, the consciousness, the purposefulness is human to light, includes you and me, human to light. And since the human is already formed, what are the next step to convert myself to light? You see, many veils of ours as body, mind, relationship with the world, that veils, yeah. Upon realizing, it doesn't mean that veils goes away. Veils still exist, but the veils will not take effect on you, because now you have allowed, cooperated for the divine to make changes in you as his will through your understanding. And since this creation is all perfectly put together, then his descending power on this particular night must also have to hold higher intelligence for it, that it needs to descend at this night, right? So this descending, as how great Siddhas have seen it, is a very important mark that is, to an extent, it becomes the duty of a human. It's a duty of a human, because whether we like it or not, we have brought about an environment which is not so healthy for both body and mind. We have contributed in many factors, and all underlying because we have not seen the strength within me where fear takes over me, So we have not given a chance for this supreme power to overpower me and possess me. To experience Shiva is one thing, which is ascension. Definitely, Shiva can be experienced in ascension. But to possess him is something comes along with the descent power, which we have to allow for the matter to carry light in it. Kashi Vishwanatha, consort Annapurani. Remember, it's not just a consort, husband and wife. Annapurani. Anna means matter. Anna means food, sheet. Food means matter. And Annapurani gives this to Shiva. Said, even the matter must hold you. My whole body as Annamaya Kosha must vibrate your light. It's Kashi Vishwanatha. It's a complete. So what is our understanding on Shiva? To the depth of it, Annapurani. So Anna being the last expression of Shiva. You understanding this body is the last expression of Shiva. It has to be manufactured in this way, or it cannot be compressed to a three-dimensional body. Therefore, it has to compress itself. It destroys itself to make, not destroy as such, he limits itself. God limits, Shiva limits himself for the love for you, so that you can rise it. You understanding? Because to construct a human body, it has to constrain itself for the purpose to evolve you to light. We have to understand this part of it. And this is a tapas. Yeah? It's definitely a tapas. Uh, tapas means one point, nothing is important for me, O Shiva, to bring his light till the matter. So this descend thoughts, or this reality, which is not from a ignorant mind. It is from a mind which have conceived divine. Because if we go into the depth, let us go to the depth and see. Because the periphery is not going to give you much answers. If you swim by the periphery, you won't have the urge to go inside. The urge to go inside is the urge. I still have some time. The urge to go inside, because it's shifting my perception towards something. The urge to go into Shiva's consciousness is potent, because if you don't allow that thing to happen, the descent is not going to happen, to merge into him. So the tool which we have in hand now, first, your belief. Because there's something called being. I am being. This being exist because of belief. Being and belief are one and the same. I hope I'm not confusing you. Your being. I know I exist, being. That being is belief itself. So this belief, when we say it is not from an ignorant mind, it is a self-defined reality as being, therefore belief. So when this being and belief, which we call devotion, it's a very powerful definition for devotion. The being and the belief, which cannot be shaken, becomes the devotion. First, my devotion. Second, the master's words. Because these masters went into the invisible reality, and the way they have explained it cannot be an error. Because those which they had seen before are being proven by science today. It may change tomorrow for a better perception. So these masters had came by and said, this is how the human is constituted. Through energy, energy through intelligence, intelligence through light. This is how it is all constituted. You are holding all this. And we take the reverse process, which we call the involution process, where I came from. What is this body? What is this mind? Then the fact came that that consciousness in you as Shiva Maha Prana, as a rarefied energy, which is ascending through your spine, making everything possible. So there is a living thing within my body by the spine, which is Shiva Maha Prana. And the methodology given, within this Shiva Maha Prana, there are discs which are different forms of Shiva's soul. Understand this thing. Different forms of Shiva's soul. So this Shiva Mahaprana enters into different forms of Shiva, and you are aligning with that and entering into his motionless state. This is one of the most important criteria factor needed for you to allow, cooperate for his expression to happen in your consciousness. So, what is this stillness silence? How am I going to enter into it? Then we have to see what is this silence, what is this stillness. Then we have, without much choice, we have to focus on what is this stillness or silence. Many mediums are there. Whichever mediums you want to use, you can use. Use a medium of a sound, you can use the medium of a touch, you can use medium of anything, you can use the medium of your emotion, you can use any mediums. But the core of it, what is that making me inhale and exhale? What is that light within me which is making me aware of my thought, aware of my feelings, aware of my five senses, everything? What is that? Put your focus in there. Who is the source which is breathing? That very source, know that that is the light, which is invisible. The more you focus, you go into the silence. So you have to enter into this. This is what, within which it is the truth consciousness, which is your soul. I'm talking about you and me now. Within which is the truth consciousness, within which it is the light and infinitesimal light. Keep on illuminating itself. Knowledge to more knowledge, intuition to intuition, insight to higher insight. You keep on expanding when you go into this stillness silence and vibrate that sound of that part to be awakened. In this case, Om Namah Shivaya. Enter into the stillness silence. The power of stillness is silence. Power of not moving your thought into anything else but into that source, the invisible Shiva. Then it starts generating its energy. When energy generates, consciousness starts expanding itself, plastic itself, it expands itself, it separates itself, and expansion happens. This expansion is the one releasing, yeah, your consciousness releasing from the body. If there's something which is not associated with the purity of the consciousness, this is where it starts breaking away whichever matters, whichever matter has to be released out, which is not aligned with the consciousness. In this case, all those remnants which is not of yours, animated ones, which we call karma, because your soul is reality. The other one came along there and you have wrongly identified with that. That releases out. You understanding what I'm talking about? Expansion of consciousness is so important. Ascension happens in which you disappear. That you disappearing is the one cooperating for Mahashiva to enter into you. This is the cooperation that we are doing. And this is done through the yogic way of understanding different layers, understanding we have 7 chakras, understanding that Shiva Maha Prana is by the spine, always there to bless you. So to move into this stillness silence and start vibrating, get coherence with the Shiva self. We have our Shakti self, we have our Shiva self, we also have our Jiva self also. Everything incorporated together. Which one is vibrating higher, that becomes your identity. That is in your hands. How do you want to cooperate for his vibration to enter into you? That is why Mahashivaratri is the greatest blessing, where it controls many planets, so that the entire creation is celebrating this descent of Shiva into Mother Earth. You understanding, sir? We are not talking about some unknown devatas of different planets. They are reality, they are beings. They are doing their duty under a single command. All planets are under command of the sun, right? They're circulating the sun. If you become the sun, all planets start worshipping you also. This is the theory. Start blessing you. Mahashivaratri, all planets start blessing humanity to give them the allowance for Shiva to enter. As much the planets and the devatas are celebrating this day, so that humanity will be served in proper for its evolution to move without any disturbance, bringing humanity to light without any scarcity, because it's full and complete. In fullness, there's no scarcity. Scarcity is a phantom word created by the mind, right? So are we obstructing, or are we allowing it, cooperating. So let us cooperate. And what is the cooperation needed? Go into your stillness, silence, start vibrating Shiva. Simple as that. A total surrender. From the point of love and gratitude, this total surrender. This full year for me, you still brought food in front of my table. For myself, you did that for me. Not only to me, the creation, every little being is getting their food. Soul being blessed, he had arranged everything. We cannot even create a blade of grass, even a hair. Nothing we can create, but we are talking so much about God. Can we just become teeny little vine and say, please bless me? Can we just melt in devotion with total gratitude? Shiva, tonight, you and me, no disturbance. Just you and me, Shiva. This body is yours, your mind is yours, my thoughts are all yours, everything yours. The yogic practice is all yours. You making me go inward, you giving me the emotions to get inward, you is all yours, Shiva. I just want to enjoy you and me together. This is this is power, sir. This is devotion. It's an order. It's an understanding it's an order. Knowledge to more knowledge is order. Don't see knowledge is knowledge. No. There's more knowledge. Wisdom to wisdom. Light to unending illumination. Truer truth. Every time you touch a truth, you think it's a truth. Until you ascend inside the truth, there is a truer truth. Because Shiva is Arunachala. Always expanding. Therefore, truer truth. Future forms, yeah. What will Shiva take a form? Next second, we won't know. But maybe another 100 solar systems are being created at this very moment. I know. I don't know. Just blabbering. Knowing his potentialities, he is constantly taking more forms. And he consumes everything in a moment. Let me reach out to humanity on this date, Mahashivaratri. Am I over exaggerating? It's not over exaggerating. It's the fire in me having understood this biggest secret of Om Namah Shivaya. No, I've not seen it, or I'm just blabbering what is happening with this power of Om Namah Shivaya. We can. It's time that we have to do this thing. We'll see some verses, but entering into Shiva is one thing, eh? But it's Mani Makutam is there, Mani Makutam, his crown. Maybe just with some wild thinking, if we can go up to his summit, and the summit of him, entering into him, live in him, and if you go into the summit of him, because you have this power, right? You're conscious of a thought, right? Anybody, consciousness, you're conscious of a thought. What is higher movement of the mind? It becomes intuitive or insight. As much as you're conscious of a thought, you'll be also conscious of you entering into him. You're consciously entering and experiencing and expressing Him in your own consciousness. It becomes experience. How do I go to the summit? Don't you think so? That why not go to the summit? What is he doing at this moment? What is the vibration in him? You have, this is what the awakened third eye is all about. It's not about somebody pressing it here. Yes, there is a press which happens for the third eye to awaken. Shiva's Maha prana descending, and that will be the one, his feet pressing into your skull, into the vacuum space of the head. He enters, descends. This is what we call entering into his summit, just below the Sahasrara. You see how the descent works. The descent has to work because it flows as a liquid, we will see. So facilitate ourselves to move into this truth. And he does the facilitation also, these arrangements, what we are listening now. Maybe that's his facilitation. Why are we speaking this language in these terms, in this depth, at this time, where the whole world is busy with their sense pleasures and sense works, and we are here, very small number of people sitting down here. Let's talk about bringing supermind into humanity on Maha Shivaratri. If that is arranged there, then this is arranged here now by his will also. But I, in person, wish more can come, sit down together, surrender the soul to Shiva, descend for humanity purpose, which of course it expresses himself in you first before it's expressed out. And the power given to us to channel it, to enjoy what I enjoyed, the rest should also enjoy. It's a bliss which you cannot buy by any means, unless otherwise you have the devotion, that devotion, sir. That is what we are looking for. What are you looking for within that soul? What is that you're looking for? As I told you, is that some barter trading exchange, or I want to be you, Shiva? So different degrees. But if we can just spare the power of our Shangalpa, yes, this Mahashivaratri, we will descend Shiva for humanity. We need a lot of divine help, without which creation cannot survive, sir. If it's going to be drought or too much sun, we are going to really suffer it out. But we are not seeing his higher grace poured into us this moment. That is what I say. We have to go into the summit of his, what he's actually doing to Mother Nature and humanity at this moment. The more you see it, the more you really want to allow yourself for Mahashiva to come, not only on Mahashivaratri, as a permanent practice in our life. Let us spare some time, a hour or so, not for my bliss of enlightenment, but descend Shiva to Mother Earth as much as I can give, because it needs an allowance space for it to work. That's what I am saying. If you don't allow, it will not evolve, cannot evolve, because you are not surrendering for the evolution to work. Evolution means care, love, bliss. That's what evolution is all about. He wants to pass it on, but we are all tight. We don't want to give that silent space, stillness for him to dance, isn't it? That's what all masters have been telling. You can see his dance only when the mental faculty ceases, and the mental faculties can only cease when you are estranged and bewildered by his power. You go silent, shut up. It happens by itself because it's so magnanimous. We must have this in-depth understanding of what Mahashiva is. It's potent, waiting to be expressed. If it expressed, if more humanity understand this truth and they just allow it, we are going to make a better Mother Earth, better humanity, comfortable in many ways because it brings love and compassion to the world. It's so necessary. Yeah? So Mahashivaratri, and we are here, small group of people, let it be. But the power which we can bring down to Mother Earth with our devotion, with this standard of devotion. When I say standard of devotion, are you trying to? No, no, no. There is standard of devotion. Because this devotion here, which says, my body, mind, senses is taken over by that Mahashiva at this moment, it's not me. And this is devotion. And this is how we are going to do our guided meditation on that day. It's not Shiva doing meditation in you. Because in that meditation which we are doing, where it becomes a mantra where I'm Shiva, every part of me is Shiva. I invoke you, Shiva. Upon invoking, tell, now my body, mind, senses is taken over by you, Shiva, and mean it, and you go for it. This is tantric practices. Huh? Tantric practices, when they do a Bahya Puja, external puja, the amount of time they spend to invoke different devatas from their feet all the way to all the fingers, hands, shoulder blades, head, everything. They invoke different devatas. That itself will take 25 minutes, 30 minutes if you are a professional to invoke divine. Then to do the pranayama and to invoke that particular Ishta Devata in their soul, and they cover the right ear and listen to the Om Nada. Until then, they will not start their puja. When the Om Nada starts, only Shiva can perform puja. Only Shiva worship to Shiva. Only Shakti worship to Shakti. Tantric practices are so powerful. We should also do our meditation from that point only. Shiva is meditating. This is how the masters have given the methodology. When we invoke ourselves as Shiva and sit as Shiva and invoke all our chakras into different permutation, combination of Shiva. Working with Nada, Bindu being the stillness, silence, all possibilities, power, unmanifest, Shivam, manifesting, vibrating, his love consciousness, delight, dynamism becomes Shakti, I'm that self. That is the stillness, silence which I focus and bring that life, Maha Prana, into each of the lotus. Send this vibration, it brings you to the higher degree of your existence. It has to, because the sound has that power within to push the soul to a higher truth, a higher state of your being. The same being transform himself to a higher being, and you will be shocked that other higher beings are within this being. This is called the ascension, a complete ascension to a higher being of Shiva. So with that, we have used quite a number of mantra, and today there's another mantra which I will explain at the end. There's something which I wanted to personally quote. How do you dissolve into light? That's part of today's topic. Who are the Shiva Siddhas? From that topic, from Tirumandaram, verse 1 to 4, is so interesting. Who are the Shiva Siddhas? Here, where is the Shiva Siddhas? Tell me, where is Shiva Siddha? Who are Shiva Siddha? In Kailasha, in Arunachala, in Kashi, Yamamala. Whoever is in love with Shiva, to merge into Shiva, they become Shiva Siddhas. They don't born as Shiva Siddhas. They transform themselves into Shiva Siddhas. And who are the Shiva Siddhas? When your space consciousness intermingle with space, when nectar intermingle with nectar, when light dissolving in light, the elect are they, the Shiva Siddhas, who these splendid visions perceive. So, வெளியில் வெளி போய், enter into space and exit through the space. Very tight. Enter into space and exit through the space. வெளிக்குள் வெளி போய். First, this Panchamahabhuta, if you see it from the earth, water, fire, air, space. So this from earth, water, fire, one over the other, consume the other, and entering into space, where this human matter it has all transformed into its purity state and entering into space, where the so and so called person is no more there. And which is the sound which leads you towards this? Om Namah Shivaya, in which you enter into the space and leave out from the individual space, entering into cosmic space. That is the state of the stillness and silence. When these expressions, this expansion happens within the soul consciousness from the space throat, that energy works in depth into the next level from the throat chakra in this case. When it travels to the next level of its expression, space into space, nectar drowning into nectar it becomes. The entire body is getting command from the hormones secreted from the pineal gland. That fellow is the one controlling the entire body, secreting as a liquid into your system, which within this liquid has all the informations to do all the growth, all the repair for the biological body, and that is the nectar. That nectar doesn't only hold the information to function the biological body, that precise nectar also has the wisdom of self knowledge within that, which is very refined nectar. That too can secrete where that divine nectar enter into you, you become the nectar because that divine nectar holds Shiva as light entering into you, you becoming the nectar which holds light, you become the light. This is all make a Shiva Siddha. If you think about it, do you think we can do it right now, here and now? Is there any conditions that which I should apply, or it is something immediate? Is stillness immediate? Is awareness immediate? It is your focus immediate? Since everything is immediate, the possibility of me entering into summit has to be immediate also. I have not employed or applied my higher thinking power to this state now. If we do it, then descent has to happen. Maybe we should try doing it. We will see. So, where does the dance of Shiva, it must be a dance, maybe we are not aware. You focus on your soul consciousness in this bindu and just wait. As I told you, Shakto Upaya, yesterday I told, I think so, Shakti Upaya. Putting your focus, seeing where is this energy movement starting from me. You put your focus, you see tremendous dance happening in your consciousness. So it says, silentness of waveless thoughts. This is verse 134, which is very much necessary because we will be applying all this when we are doing Mahashivaratri. A Mahashivaratri is on the 11th. We started from the 1st. So that we have a better understanding for the celebration, getting ourselves prepared for the celebration. You go for party, you go 1 week before, you go start buying all your dresses, and even putting it on and showing how you should exhibit yourself. A preparation. And same thing, Mahashivaratri is a great day for Shiva. I'm going to prepare myself. In which way? Is it like the ghee subtly latent in the purest milk? Into the waveless thought, the Lord in his silentness speaks to you. They who in silentness realize this mortal called shuffled purity they become in limitless light mingling. So they who in silentness realize it. In total silent only, sir. You don't have to believe my words, sir. Shiva's word that I dance only in the silence of your soul because that is my arena. There's no other arena I can dance. Maybe that's the default of God. I used to say something every time. If at all God cannot do something, God cannot do something, Shiva cannot do something, he cannot separate me from him. This is the devotion. Challenge him. You move away from me. Cannot because I am him. Cannot, eh? So those who in silentness realize, into the waveless thought, the Lord in silentness speak. The Lord in silentness speak. He can allow only when the night is being celebrated in silence. This is truth. This truth. All masters have been talking about all this also. But Mahashivaratri is a day for that, for Mahashiva descending. He must, I must experience him, Mahashivaratri is to experience Shiva, isn't it, sir? Experience him directly. Methodologies. One main factor, yes, in stillness and silence. That is why it has to be in Ratri. In stillness and silence, allow him. Let him come dance in you. Have a nice time watching the dance and spread it to Mother Earth through stillness and silence. It's a nice example here, verse 194. What is this time? 620. The bee, the nectar seeks, flies high for its flower on top, and there alone it sucks the fragrant juice. The bee, which wants the the pollen, the honey in a flower, flies from very distance, and it can only consume that honey when it lands in the mid of the flower. Without landing in the mid of the flower, the bee cannot taste the honey. So to express, experience, enjoy Shiva, you have to go into that flower, into his consciousness, stay in his consciousness. Even so, they who seek the blessed grace divine aspire for the light beyond visible reach of eyes. So we have to merge into Shiva to enjoy Shiva. And that also happens to be only in the mind which have no waves, and the waves must have a content of cosmic Shiva's vibration. That must be the waves. Silent and waves. If silent, there's nothing there. That is why I always contend silent is not empty. That is why upon entering into silence, there you hear his voice. If you are an intense practice of Shiva Yoga, you hear Om Namah Shivaya by itself. Because that's the very existence of our being here. So, another verse. Seek him, he seeks you. Low vibration. The Lord God knows them who by night and day seek him in heart's core and in love exalted adore, to that wise with inner light, actionless in trance, without any movement, he go into a trance of absolute bliss. He comes and in close proximity stands before you. This is what it says. Only when you call him, he comes. So the mind, which is centered in the soul, start calling the name of Namah Shivaya. He seeks you out because you are allowing, you are cooperating. Only when the cooperation happens, because the pull has to come down, yeah? So it all depends how are we going to have this deeper understanding to call for Mahashiva on Mahashivaratri. So in that night, while we are doing this guided meditation, in every kala, as we ascend of these mantras, Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Nama, Shivaya Shiva, Shivaya Shiva, all this we'll be seeing another two more mantras tomorrow, the day after. While we are ascending above the head, we'll be invoking with some Vedic mantras, in which one of it is Namaskritya mantra. Namaskritya mantra is a mantra of his golden light body of Bindu. Om Namo Hiranya Bahave Hiranya Varnaya Hiranya Rupaya Hiranya Pataye Ambika Pataye Uma Pataye Pashupataye Namo Namaha. O Shiva, I ascend my body, mind, senses, life above head, and there I invoke you as the cosmic light of Shiva in your golden form, and you start invoking this mantra. And that resplendent start entering into you. So Hiranya Bahave, you in the golden light, Hiranya Varnaya, you the golden color, Hiranya Rupaya, who in this golden form, matter, golden form, which is visible golden form, Hiranya Rupaya, Hiranya Pataye, you the Pati, the God, is gold. Ambika Pataye, the consort of Shiva as Ambika, another consort of Shiva Uma. How come two divine mothers are being explained here? So Hiranya Pataye, you the Pati, the God, Shiva, who is in gold. Ambika Pati, the same gold you have given to Ambika, and the same whole gold you have given to Uma, your Shakti, both his Shakti, and the same quality is given to Pashu, the individual, me. He have not even a tiny weeny removed his power to the individual here. He have given, expressed as much as he has given this golden light to Uma, his Shakti, half. That same quality value he has also given to the human body, the Pashu, the individual, me. That's his grace, that's his compassion, that's what he said. This is a Vedic mantra, it's truth. So I have to really celebrate that I have been given everything already. As much as Shakti, I am Shakti self. You understand? Ambika becomes the very potent water content, This water content is something needs interrogation deep and need my very long hours to explain this water content. Water content, I'm not talking about this Swadhisthana water content. I'm talking about the liquid, where normally you see the portrait of Shiva with Shakti pouring water, and that's the liquid content which comes. So Shiva has given himself as golden light to entire creation, the same power golden light given to the human also. With all this understanding, holding Shiva as a devotion, please close your eyes and let us invoke Shiva. Please close your eyes. Relax. Bring your focus, your soul consciousness. Use the tool. What is the source which is doing the inhalation and exhalation? Bring your focus there. Enjoy the silence within that focus. See that that's the Bindu. See that that's your soul. See that that's Shiva, your being. Inside that Bindu, vibrate. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namaha. Hold, watch the silence. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namaha. Let the magic of Namah Shivaya, the power of Namah Shivaya, travel into your consciousness and align your soul to Shiva, to Shiva Maha Pran. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namo. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva. Namah Shivaya. Let us pray all together that this Maha Shivaratri is a great Maha Shivaratri for humanity. I'll surrender my body, mind, senses to my Shiva so that he dance in me with delight and share, express my love to my fellow humanity. Naduடைய சிவனே போற்றி எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி திருச்சிற்றம்பலம் சிவசிதம்பரம்